Brought to you by ZeroResSacramento.com. Here now is Dan. What's up, Dan?
Well, Sean, it's Monday. That means the Chicago shooting report, 19 shot, 3 dead in that city that never seems to get anything done around there. You want job security, become a police officer there, because all they do is investigate, and they don't take anybody in custody. You don't have to do much research, but you'll have lots and lots of job security. That's probably a very poor joke, but anyway, that's it. That's just how sad that city is. The story that came out on Friday, which really surprised me and pleased me very much, was the story of Israel sending 140 planes to Iran. That must have been a sight to see. Now, obviously, Iran is a huge state. The surface area is larger than the state of California, but they must have gone into certain targeted areas and so forth. So what happened was, and by the way, that story has fallen off the media radar, every pun intended. That's a huge story. Why they're not talking about it, I don't know, because there's going to be more of this along the lines. What bothered me was that Israel apparently gave the Biden administration a few hours heads up regarding what they were going to do. Now, obviously, it wasn't what the information that was leaked out about a week ago. That must have been a different plan or a backup plan. But still, I'm certain it was well executed, and I'm just delighted that Israel is literally taking charge of this whole thing. Now, why it bothered me that Israel gave a heads up to Biden, because they haven't even begun to address the gaping holes in their security. With that leak last week, I wouldn't tell the Biden administration anything.
No. Why would you? They're not. The Biden administration is not on the side of Israel.
No, I think they finally know that. I really don't know the mindset of Netanyahu, because he's known Biden for the longest time. He should have seen that the U.S. is no friend of the Israel anymore. Not this administration. What I would have done was attacked, and then a couple hours afterwards say, "Hey, this is what we did," and give very vague description regarding what's going on. Because if you give any specifics, as you know, it's going to be leaked out for all to see. So, and have you heard anything? I know I haven't. No word regarding who was the person that leaked this out. That is high treason. That person needs to be hung by the highest tree for what they did. That is something that is absolutely inexcusable. But again, I haven't heard any word about any investigation on any level.
Probably the same person that put the cocaine there in the White House that time.
Who knows?
Which we never found out either, did we?
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh God, no. That's we know who it was. But anyway, what's going to happen moving forward? It's interesting the timing of this, because remember that Israel had kind of muted the communications ability with Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran and all that. That's probably one of the reasons why they struck. Now, what's going to happen moving forward? I'm not certain. I'm certain people thought, World War III has started, on Friday. No, that's not true. Again, Israel is very much in charge. If they're taking action, these people, they do their homework. Unlike here in the U.S., they know exactly what to do, where to go, and when to go. So I don't think Iran's going to be using a counterstrike anytime soon, because I think they were pretty slapped upside the head this past Friday.
I think you may be right. I hope you're right.
Sometimes I'm right.
Stranger things have happened, Dan. Even for us married guys. Sometimes we're right. We just better not make a big deal out of it.
Oh, don't say that so loud. Our wives are listening.
Absolutely. Point well taken. So, we will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
Yes, you will. Thanks.
Brought to you by ZeroResSacramento.com. And here is Dan. What's up, Dan?
Well, bouncing off, Sean, of Dan from Elk Grove's call, I'm trying to limit coffee. I'm not a huge fan of coffee, never have been, but the caffeine value, you can't beat that. But it's kind of unsettling to me as I get older for whatever reason. I'm switching to an alternative, just regular soda in the morning for the same reason, caffeine value. I know it's not the healthiest thing to do, but you got to wake up and go to work. I went to the soda machine. There's a Jack in the Box and a Chevron station here in Sonoma, back to back. Went to the Jack in the Box. They want $4.15 for the large soda. You literally go next door to the Chevron station, and the same exact thing is $2 even. The reason why is obvious. the people at Jack in the Box are making $20 an hour, and the people at Chevron are making who knows, I don't know, 16 an hour. But the thing is, the Chevron station got my business, and the Jack in the Box did not. And you wonder why. People are just the economy is flailing across the board. It's all interference by the government. And this is why Kamala Harris is just flailing in the polls here. The lies that continue on. It was J.D. Vance. It was on, who was it, the Meet the Press host. I forget her name. She's an idiot. She still tried to push that lie that the inflation is coming down. That is not true. It is the rate of inflation that is coming down. It's still going up, but at a slower rate. And again, people see it when they go to the grocery store, when they go to the gas pump. And by the way, we're supposed to be having the winter blends right now. Every election year, just before the election, the gas prices come down because the winter blends come in. They're not coming down that much. They've come down a little bit, but they should be way lower than they are. I think we all know the reason why the Gavin Magneto Newsom is at work again.
Magneto Newsom is at work? I thought he was just busy combing his hair.
No, he has a team of 6 people to do that. That's a tough job to manage that guy's hair. I wouldn't want to be in charge of that. Of course, never mind. The other thing I've seen here is this year, in every election year, I normally pay pretty close attention to the ballot propositions. I haven't paid much attention at all. And I'm going to give a rare element of praise to the California Republican Party. You go to their website, and they have a list of endorsements. Of course, they're all Republicans that are there for each and every seat. But then you scroll down to the end, and there's all these propositions that there's only 10 of them that they are making mention of them. They'll either oppose them or support them, or one is neutral. The Proposition 3, the Marriage Equality Act, which I know nothing about.
Vote no.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no.
I'm just going to tell people what to do. If they say they don't know, I'm just going to tell them, hey, vote no on 3. Actually, with the propositions, I read up on it on California Globe, and my take on the propositions is no on everything except 34 and 36.
Oh, I didn't know Cal Globe had a recommendation up on the site. They do. Okay, I'll go to that instead then.
Check it out. Yeah, they're way better than me. Check it out. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, bud.
You have a great day. Good morning. It is 7:15. Taking a quick look at traffic. Disabled vehicle westbound Highway 50 at Howe Avenue. And northbound 99 slowing up at Fruit Ridge Road. Traffic brought to you by ZeroResSacramento.com. Here now is Dan in Sonoma. What's up, Dan?
So we're garbage. We're deplorables. I mean, Joe Biden has had a whole history of comments, of racist comments, throughout his whole career. I mean, I will never forget or forgive Jill Biden's racist remarks that she compared Mexicans to breakfast tacos. And she never did apologize for that. I mean,
she never took any heat for it either.
No, she didn't.
Really?
The media largely ignored it. And again, that's something you can't walk back. And she didn't even bother to try. Even her, I guess, what was her press secretary tried to issue some sort of.
You want to know, Dan? Do you want to know why she didn't apologize? Because she's not sorry. Because you know what she is? She's garbage. And so is Joe. And so is Kamala.
These are two trashy people. Same with the Obamas. The Obamas, this touting by the media how distinguished they are. These are low-rent people. These are low-class street people. And it's showing. So is Kamala. Kamala is clearly showing that she has nothing in her head. This is one empty head. And how she got as far as she did is stunning and remarkable. But who knows how it's all over about the shouting as far as I'm concerned. This early voting thing, by the way, people are starting to accept it. The guy on Red Eye, was it Eric Harley? He said, "Yeah, I'm on board. I guess they don't like it, but they're still voting early." No, we need to stop this trend. This should be the last time we are voting early. It should be on Election Day and Election Day only, and there should be no excuses for it. This should not be allowed to continue or expand, but it is. But we'll see what happens after President Trump, takes office. Again, I'll hear nothing from the California Republican Party, who said nothing about anything. One other thing that really caught my eye and really angered me, this guy David DePape, who attacked Pelosi's husband, he got life in prison. To me, that's excessive. That's way excessive for what he did. I mean, I can understand, he's what, 40, he's in his mid-40s, I think. Maybe 25, 20 years. But you compare this to all the other breaks and enters and assaults throughout the state, throughout the nation. They get a slap on the wrist, and there's the revolving door of criminality. They're right back on the street. Why is this guy serving the rest of his life without possibility of parole behind bars? And I'm curious as to why. Maybe there's a legal reason why this was considered a state crime. This was held in state court. This was a local crime. It should have been handled just like anybody else who had to deal with this sort of criminality. But of course, it wasn't, because of the Princess Pelosi. You try to attack her, your life is over. The obscene double standard in the law is disgusting.
Yeah, if it had been Tom McClintock or Kevin Kiley or somebody like that, it wouldn't be the same thing. It wouldn't be the same sentence.
What about Senator Rand Paul? He got beaten up in his own front yard. That guy he's probably, I should look up to see what he got. I don't think it was a life sentence. I'll guarantee you that.
I don't know what it was, but you're probably right. It probably wasn't. It probably was not a life sentence.
All right. Well, I got some homework to do. I'll try to get this report to you by tomorrow.
All right. Meanwhile, I'm going to fire up the latest garbage CD and rock out and think about Cammie.
I love it. Talk to you tomorrow, pal.
Take care, Dan. Yeah. X-rays of Kamala's brain revealed nothing. Traffic brought to you by Zero Res Sacramento. Here now is Dan. How are you, Dan?
Hey, John. Happy Halloween to you and everybody in the audience.
Oh, it's Halloween. Yes. Trick or treat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also my brother Adam's birthday, so I got to call him after the show. Yeah.
He probably took a good ribbing in school for being born on Halloween.
No, they were jealous. The people were jealous. They loved it. Halloween's kind of becoming a bigger day than Christmas, as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway.
Well, when you look at the Democrat Party, I mean, yeah, it's perfect. It's pretty scary.
Yes, it is. A couple of things. When President Trump wins next week, depending on how big the victory will be, and assuming the Senate and House go to Republicans, and I think it'll be because of Donald Trump's gigantic coattails.
I hope you're right.
That he's creating. You're not going to get any. The Republicans should get no credit, because I don't see any real campaigning by them. I mean, I'm not talking about the individuals candidates. I'm talking about the party itself, both nationally and statewide. It's certainly California. If they get any traction, don't give them any credit, because they've done nothing to deserve it. They're just, again, riding on the coattails of Trump. Let's throw out a name that I've talked about. That was Tammy Haygood, and she was in charge of the voters, the registrar of voters of San Francisco about 20-something years ago. She had left, if you remember the story, she left ballots unattended on a dock, not once but twice. And that was a no-no back in the day. And so the Board of Supervisors, in a rare showing of common sense, fired this woman. Well, she, of course, fought back because she's a black lesbian, and every black organization came out of the woodwork to defend her and so forth. But I bring this up because these ballot boxes that are out in the open, unattended, I believe that's against the law. The ballot is supposed to be sacred, and that is your vote. That is your voice to say what you're going to say. And how this all got started to leave ballots out in the open is now, obviously things are happening to them, including, people setting these things on fire. By the way, that's an old Nazi Hitler tactic. That's how Hitler got into power. If most people remember, they had burned down buildings housing all the ballots. So they're repeating that tactic. But this whole thing of voting for months, a paper ballot that you mail in, you mail out, and it could be lost in the mail. It could be who knows what could happen. This has to come.
The chain of custody is there's no accounting for it. It's ridiculous. Dan, you're getting me started again. This is going to be like Monday morning.
I got my ballot in the mail. I'm waiting to the election day. I'm not going to vote early. I'm not interested. I guess maybe that's the trend right now, which is kind of backfiring on the Democrats, as Dan had pointed out. But this trend needs to stop. I mean, this needs to be absolutely the last time we do this. So how that's going to happen, I don't know. President Trump has a gigantic mountain of things to correct. Can he get to this in time? Certainly, the Republicans aren't going to do it. If they were going to make any mention, they would have started now. But they're not even talking about it right now. They're just sort of going along with the flow. So again, there's a ton of this bothers me so much because your vote is the most sacred thing you have. That's when you have your say. And if that is compromised, and now it is compromised, your country is gone.
Thank you, Dan. I wish I could disagree with that, but I cannot disagree with that. That is absolutely true. And I am also out of time, so I'll have to just leave you with my old parting salvo. You're a fine American.
But a lousy Mexican. And I vote.
Wow. That is lousy. I hope you vote correctly, though.
I'll do my best. Public school may not help me.
I hope it's not too difficult. We will talk to you tomorrow, sir.
Thanks, bud.
Sacramento.com. Here now is Dan. Hey, Dan, what's up?
Well, Sean, yesterday was Halloween, and I dressed up as a struggling California business owner. Imagine my embarrassment when I saw countless others wearing the same costume. And yes, that's the same joke I pull every single year, but it never gets old because it's also true. So, a couple of things on the call of prep for today. Joe Rogan, had President Trump on. I think it was on Monday, and the two talked about something that had bothered me, and I've mentioned this before, and that was the lack of prosecution from Hillary Clinton. Both men thought it was better for the country that President Trump didn't prosecute. Trump said that verbatim on the podcast, and I've said no. Absolutely not. I mentioned before, worth repeating, that was a campaign promise to lock her up, to clean up the swamp. And she was one of the biggest swamp preachers. She was guilty of a whole variety of things, including, we believe, gun running in Benghazi. That was the whole point of her being involved in there. And that whole Benghazi, Libya scenario, no one paid a price for any of that stuff, and that no one ever does. But again, President Trump made that promise. He should have followed through with it. The hell with the country's, touchy-feely, if they're offended or they can't handle that sort of strength in enforcing the law. That was a wrong move, because what do criminals do when you don't prosecute them? They go back to crime, and that's exactly what Hillary Clinton did. Afterwards, nothing was done to her. She created the entire Russian collusion hoax, violating a whole variety of laws, including the perversion of the Pfizer court, which none of that has been looked into. But I mention this because he's going to win next Tuesday. We know that, assuming they get the ballots in order. There's a ray of hope, though, that I think he may take a different tune, because the new story came out, I think it was yesterday, that Trump is suing 60 Minutes for $10 billion for the edited and clearly hacked and the interview that they gave with Kamala Harris. It was doctored and all that. So, but he saw that, everyone saw it. So he's actually taking action. This is something he's never done before. I'm hoping, and I don't care what the left says, that he's got a list. He should have a list. Look what this poor man has gone through. There should be repercussions, but it's not just for him, for us. How many times you and I look at the government and look at politicians who get away with everything, and nothing ever happens to them? I'm hoping this $10 billion lawsuit is a trend that leads all the way to 2028.
Dan, I don't remember Trump promising to put Hillary in jail. When did he do that?
Well, the phrase he kept saying, "Lock her up, lock her up." That was his phrase, and he continued on with it. Okay.
As far as the lawsuit, though, with 60 Minutes, I don't think that'll go anywhere. They can just say, "Well, we edit stuff all the time. We had to edit it for time or whatever." I don't think that'll stick.
Maybe you may be right, but then again, you have to start somewhere. I mean, this lawsuit is long overdue. I mean, there's all kinds of lawsuits with the media because the media is openly interfering with elections. That is completely against the law. And so you have to.
But to get the court to agree.
If you get the right judge. You get the right judge, but at least it starts exposing what they are doing, because that's you have to start somewhere. And I think this is a good start for President Trump.
Indeed. Thank you, Dan. You are a fine American.
And a lousy Mexican, and I don't know how to dress for Halloween.
But a good Cub fan.
Yes, great Cub fan and A's fan.
And maybe not a Bud man, but at least a Cub fan.
I like Budweiser, not Bud Light. Budweiser's okay.
All right, then.
Bad.
On that note, I'll see you Monday.
Thanks, Bud. See you then.
7:20.